This is a story about burnout. When we talk about burnout, we will often brush it off saying, it's just stress. Let's get it straight. It is as real as it gets. Burnout is not stress. Burnout is not an inability to cope. Burnout is not about getting depressed. Burnout is what I call a silent assassin, taking the lives of young, brilliant individuals. Everyone faces it, but nobody talks about it. As doctors, we used to think of burnout as a sequela of depression. It is only recently that the World Health Organization finally recognized burnout syndrome as a medical condition in the International Classification of Diseases number 11. This is a big step for everyone, as we can all now seek help appropriately, and in the near future, hopefully, we will see some workplace policy changes to ensure the well-being of the staff. However, it is important to point out that burnout is not only experienced by people at work. Others such as students or personal carers also experience burnout. The World Health Organization International Classification of Diseases number 11 defines burnout as chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. Everyone has different level of tolerance and ability to cope. It is when we are constantly pushing ourselves, grinding beyond our mental and physical limits, we started experiencing burnout. In my opinion, the term chronic gives the false impression that it has to be over months or years. However, in the era of smartphones and internet, it is hard to switch off from work. While the internet has brought us closer than ever before, studies have shown that the amount of trauma that we experience in a lifetime cannot be experienced in a day. We constantly check our emails from work in order to stay efficient and prove to our employers that we are on top of things. The end result of this is burnout. Burnout is dangerous. People who experience burnout may experience behavioral disturbance such as anxiety or depression. And they may engage in dangerous activities such as substance abuse of alcohol and drugs. And guess who are the people? They are at the highest risk of burnout. Doctors. We burn out twice as fast as an average American worker and account for more than half of the people who experience burnout. I was at work the other day and I had this really intrusive thought. We ask patients, how are you feeling, on a daily basis. We listen to their complaints and try our best to address them. But why is no one asking us how are we feeling? An article that was recently published in the Medical Journal of Australia reported that about 50% of the junior doctors experience moderate to high level stress. Female doctors are 2.27 times more likely to commit self-harm compared to the general population, and male doctors at 1.41 times. 1 in 5 medical students have considered suicide, and they haven't even started a career yet. According to WHO, the World Health Organization statistics, about 1 million people commit suicides every year. That is at the rate of 1 death every 40 seconds, which are projected to increase to 1 death every 20 seconds by the year 2020. The irony here is that while doctors are at a high risk of burnout, we are also the most knowledgeable when it comes to ending one's life. Because majority of the doctors are overworked, we normalize it and pretend that it's not as bad as it seems. The journey to training and practicing medicine lies on the premise of perfection. As doctors, we have the privilege of interacting with people from different sectors at the most vulnerable times of their lives. Both society and us share the notion that it is unacceptable for doctors to mess up. The unrealistic expectation shapes the way we practice and how we view our life. The long hours, the fear of making mistakes, the constant butting head with the system. It is almost as if doctors are expected to be Superman. Except we don't wear a cape, and I don't wear my underwear on the outside. Sometimes, people forget that we are humans too. The World Health Organization International Classification of Diseases, number 11, define burnout as feelings of energy, depletion or exhaustion, increase mental distance from one's job, feelings of negativism or cynicism related to one's job, reduce professional efficacy, and of course with all kind of mental diseases, rule out anxiety, depression, other mental health, personality disorders, so on and so on. Now, I'm not going to ask you to memorize World Health Organization International Classification of Diseases number 11's definition, but instead, ask yourself these questions. Do you find yourself becoming more emotional? Example, getting angry easily over minor things at work? Have you stopped caring about your work, colleagues, clients, or patients, or just going through the motions without motivation? Do you feel incompetent and started to have doubt in your ability to perform the job? Do you feel guilty about not spending enough time with your family or even yourself? Now, if your answer to any of these questions above is yes, you are experiencing burnout. As with everything in medicine, understanding its natural history provides insights to why things occur. In burnout, as we work, we accumulate stress as time passes. If this stress is not properly dealt with, we start to feel exhausted and we exhibit apathy. This in turn reduces our professional efficacy and casting doubt in whether we can perform the matter. These cycles carry on until we start developing low mood, which results in depressions and anxiety, and ultimately self-harm. Of course, I'm not a psychiatrist, and this is just my theory on burnout. Regardless, recognition is the first step to acceptance. Even if you remotely consider it, it means that you're thinking of it. And that could be the start of a stepping stone to save yours and someone else's life. As a wise man once said, work should stay at work. Fine, I said it. But remember, switch off from work when you're not at work. Bringing work home is the first step to disaster. After a long day of work, you have accumulated a lot of stress, and you need to unwind to recover from it so you can deal with it again the next day. Spend quality time with your friends and family. If you're more introverted like me, spend your time doing the things you like. Get to know yourself better. Mindfulness such as exercise, yoga and meditation, and watching my YouTube video always helps. Sometimes, simply asking how are you is helpful. It may sound cheesy, but you have no idea who you may be helping by showing a little bit of concern. One of the things that I've started doing is answering how are you truthfully. In Australia, we always start our greeting with how are you, and the automatic answer that we always give would be I'm good, I'm fine. Recently, I've started answering that question truthfully, telling people how I truly feel. You will be surprised about how people react when I tell them truthfully about how I feel, and how many people I've managed to share with. Sometimes, being true to yourself and sharing with others is therapeutic, and you will never know what kind of lessons you may learn from them. Now, if you're an employer, please check on your employee, make sure they are doing okay. Ensuring well-being is crucial. To a company, it may feel that working your workers in a long time and over a long period of time can boost productivity, but in the long run, this can actually be detrimental. because your employee will burn out and they will lose enthusiasm at work. It may be detrimental to both the person and the organization. We are not robots. We cannot work forever. And even machines break down. Lastly, if you're struggling, please seek help from a local doctor. Ask to be referred to a psychologist or psychiatrist. I've listed in the description link below a few non-for-profit organizations which you can seek help with if you are actually having problems. I am in no way being paid or sponsored by these companies, but simply sharing them because I have more access to them and knowledge of their existence being a doctor. Please note that I do not provide medical consultations through the YouTube channels. However, if you would like to drop me an email to share how you truly feel free to do that in the email listed in the description link below. Now, I hope you find this video helpful, and always remember to subscribe and look out for my weekly videos every Friday. Thank you.